The Arizona desert stretched out like a canvas. Vast and unforgiving, it held secrets in its sands. The sun beat down, baking the earth, creating an almost surreal, shimmering landscape. It was here, in the small town of Prescott, that a nightmare was unfolding, a story that would haunt the town forever. A killer, known only as the Artist, was turning the desert landscape into his own twisted gallery, a place of horror and dark beauty. He saw beauty in death, a macabre vision that he brought to life with chilling precision, each stroke of his brush a testament to his dark genius. His victims, young and full of life, were his muses, their vibrant energy twisted into his grim creations. Their bodies, his medium, were transformed into haunting works of art. The artist moved like a phantom. Unseen, unknown, he was a shadow in the night. He stalked the night, searching for his next masterpiece, driven by an insatiable need to create. His work was brutal, yet strangely captivating, drawing the eye with its dark allure. He posed his victims like sculptures, their bodies arranged in grotesque tableaus, each scene more disturbing than the last. Each murder was more elaborate than the last, a testament to his twisted creativity and growing confidence. The desert, once a place of stark beauty, was becoming a graveyard of art, a chilling testament to the artist's dark legacy. Emily Carter was the first, a young waitress with dreams as big as the Arizona sky. She vanished one night, swallowed whole by the desert. Her disappearance sent shockwaves through Prescott. Days turned into weeks, hope fading with each setting sun. Then, a rancher made a gruesome discovery: Emily's body. But this was no ordinary crime scene. Emily had been posed beneath a lone Joshua tree, her limbs arranged in a macabre imitation of the tree's branches. Her face, once radiant, was frozen in a mask of terror. Clutched in her hand was a single blood-red poppy. The artist had signed his work. The town was horrified. Who could commit such a heinous act? Fear settled over Prescott like a shroud, as cold and unforgiving as the desert night. The artist's work became a morbid fascination. People whispered about it in hushed tones, a mixture of fear and morbid curiosity. The desert, once a source of solace and beauty, was now a place of dread. Mothers kept their children close. Lovers held each other tight. The very air seemed thick with unspoken fear. The artist's legend grew with each passing day. Some saw him as a monster, a demon in human form. Others, strangely captivated by his gruesome artistry, whispered of a dark genius. The police were baffled. There were no witnesses, no leads, no trace of the killer. The artist was a ghost, his presence felt but never seen. He was a nightmare come to life, preying on the innocent and leaving a trail of fear and death in his wake. Detective Mark Reynolds arrived in Prescott with a heavy heart, the weight of his past cases pressing down on him, and a steely resolve. A seasoned detective from Phoenix, he had seen his share of darkness, the kind that leaves a mark on one's soul. But there was something about this case, something about the artist's chilling artistry that was different, more sinister. It sent a shiver down his spine. He studied the crime scene photos meticulously, his eyes lingering on Emily's lifeless face, trying to piece together her final moments. He saw the fear etched into her features, the terror that had gripped her in her last moments. The pain in her eyes was unmistakable. He vowed to find her killer, to bring him to justice, no matter the cost. Reynolds was a man of few words, his silence masking a sharp mind and an unwavering determination. He was relentless in his pursuit of the truth. He immersed himself in the case, poring over every detail, every clue, every piece of evidence, every whisper in the wind, hoping to catch a break. He knew that somewhere, hidden in plain sight, was the key to solving this mystery, a monster wearing a human mask, blending in with the ordinary. And he would stop at nothing to unmask him, to bring the darkness into the light. Brushstrokes of terror. The artist struck again. This time, his victim was a young dancer, her body discovered posed on a rocky outcrop overlooking the town. She was draped in flowing silk, her limbs contorted into an impossible arabesque. Her eyes, wide with eternal fear, stared out at the vast emptiness of the desert. The artist had painted her body with swirls of crimson and gold, transforming her into a grotesque parody of a desert sunset. The town held its breath. The artist was escalating, his work becoming bolder, more brazen. The fear that had been simmering beneath the surface boiled over. People were afraid to leave their homes, afraid to become the artist's next masterpiece. The desert, once a symbol of freedom and beauty, was now a prison of fear. Gallery of Horrors. Reynolds noticed a pattern in the artist's gruesome work. Each victim was connected to the local art scene. Emily, the waitress, had dreamed of becoming a photographer. The dancer had been a rising star in the local ballet company. The connection was undeniable. The artist wasn't just a killer, he was a connoisseur of art, a twisted curator of human suffering. Reynolds delved deeper into the local art community, interviewing artists, gallery owners, and patrons. He was looking for someone with a dark side, someone whose artistic vision had crossed the line into madness. He scoured portfolios, looking for sketches or paintings that mirrored the artist's gruesome style. The answer, he knew, lay hidden somewhere in the vibrant tapestry of Prescott's art scene. The reclusive painter. Daniel was an enigma, a recluse who lived in a dilapidated house on the outskirts of town. He was a talented painter, his work celebrated for its raw emotion and haunting beauty. But Daniel shunned the limelight, preferring the solitude of his studio to the clamor of the art world. He became a person of interest in Reynolds' investigation. His paintings, while beautiful, often depicted macabre scenes, figures twisted in agony and despair. There was a darkness in his art, a disturbing undercurrent that mirrored the artist's work. Reynolds visited Daniel's studio, his eyes scanning the canvases, the scattered paintbrushes, the faint scent of turpentine in the air. He found sketches of the victims, their poses eerily similar to the artist's gruesome tableaus. Daniel, the reclusive painter, was now the prime suspect. Unveiling the masterpiece. The evidence against Daniel was mounting, piece by piece, like a puzzle coming together. Fibers from his clothing were found at one of the crime scenes, a crucial link that couldn't be ignored. A witness placed him near the location where the dancer's body was discovered, adding another layer to the case. But the most damning piece of evidence was found in Daniel's studio, a journal filled with disturbing sketches and rambling confessions, each page more chilling than the last. The journal revealed the twisted thoughts of a tortured soul, a man obsessed with death and the fleeting nature of beauty, his mind a labyrinth of dark fantasies. Daniel saw himself as an artist, his victims as his muses, each one a tragic figure in his macabre gallery. He believed he was giving them immortality through his gruesome art, capturing their essence in his twisted creations. Reynolds knew he had his man, the pieces of the puzzle fitting together perfectly. But Daniel had vanished, disappearing into the vast expanse of the desert, leaving behind only questions and fear. He was planning one final masterpiece, a grand finale to his reign of terror, a chilling end to his dark saga. And Reynolds was determined to stop him, no matter the cost, ready to face the darkness head-on. A brush with justice. The stage was set, a prestigious art exhibition in the heart of Prescott. Daniel, using an alias, had submitted a sculpture as the centerpiece of the show. It was a masterpiece, a haunting depiction of a woman caught in the throes of death. Reynolds recognized her immediately. It was Emily Carter. Daniel had used her actual bones, meticulously cleaned and arranged, to create his masterpiece. The crowd, oblivious to the horror before them, marveled at the sculpture's beauty, its raw emotion. Reynolds, his heart pounding in his chest, watched from the shadows. He saw Daniel, disguised among the guests, his eyes gleaming with a mixture of pride and madness. As Daniel made his move to escape, Reynolds gave chase. The gallery erupted in chaos as the two men disappeared into the night. Legacy of fear. Daniel was never caught. He vanished without a trace, leaving behind a legacy of fear and unanswered questions. Some whispered that he had escaped into the desert, his twisted artistry merging with the landscape. Others believed he was still out there, watching, waiting for the right moment to resurface. The artist's reign of terror might be over, but the fear lingered. Prescott, once a peaceful town nestled in the heart of the Arizona desert, was forever scarred. The desert, once a symbol of freedom and beauty, was now a haunting reminder of the darkness that lay hidden beneath the surface. And Detective Mark Reynolds, haunted by the case that had consumed him, was left to grapple with the knowledge that some monsters are destined to remain forever in the shadows.